The door slammed shut behind me with a force that rattled the windows, but it was nothing compared to the storm raging inside my chest. Amira stood there in the dim hallway of our family's old Victorian house in suburban Chicago, her eyes blazing with the same fury that had ignited our argument just minutes ago in the living room. Before I could stop myself, the words tumbled out. "I can't keep pretending, Amira. I love you, not like a sister, but in a way that terrifies me." Her face went pale, the color draining as if I'd slapped her. We were stepsisters, thrown together when our parents married 5 years ago, both of us navigating the awkwardness of blending families while hiding our own secrets. But this confession, blurted out after a heated debate about our futures, her engagement to that safe, predictable guy from her office, and my endless string of failed relationships, was the match that set everything ablaze. Amira stepped back, her hand clutching the banister. "Sienna, what the hell are you saying? This isn't some joke. Mom and Dad are downstairs with the whole family." Her voice was a whisper, laced with panic, but her eyes, those deep brown eyes I'd caught myself staring into too many times, betrayed a flicker of something unspoken, something that mirrored my own turmoil. I paced the narrow hallway, my mind racing through the years we'd spent under the same roof. At first, it was resentment. She was the perfect daughter, the one who followed the rules, while I rebelled against everything our conservative family stood for. But over time, that resentment twisted into something deeper, a pull I couldn't ignore. "You know what I'm saying?" I pressed, my heart pounding. "All those late nights talking, the way you look at me when you think no one's watching. It's not just me, is it?" She shook her head, but it wasn't denial. It was fear. Our family was the epitome of Midwestern values. Church on Sundays, community barbecues, and a strict code against anything that deviated from the norm. Being gay? That was whispered about neighbors, never us. Amira had always been the golden child, excelling in her marketing job, dating men who fit the mold. Me? I was the artist, the one who moved to the city for college, and came back with tattoos and questions. The argument had started innocently enough, over dinner with our extended family. Aunt Karen had asked about Amira's wedding plans and I'd snapped, "Why rush into something that feels forced?" It escalated from there, old grudges surfacing. Her accusing me of being reckless, me calling her out for living a lie. Now here we were, the air thick with unspoken truths. Amira sank onto the bottom step, burying her face in her hands. Inside her mind I could almost hear the chaos. What if this ruins everything? Our parents had worked so hard to build this blended family after both losing spouses young. Dad, with his military background, preached discipline and tradition. Mom, Amira's biological mother, clung to her faith like a lifeline. Coming out would be like dropping a bomb on their carefully constructed world. But for me, the silence had become unbearable. I dated women in secret during college, brief flings that never filled the void. Returning home last year after a bad breakup, I'd found solace in Amira's company. Movie nights, shared secrets. It started as comfort but grew into longing. "We have to talk about this," I said, kneeling in front of her. "Ignoring it won't make it go away." She lifted her head, tears streaking her cheeks. "And what? Destroy our family? You think they won't disown us? This isn't some progressive city. This is Illinois suburbs, where people still vote against our rights." Her words cut deep, echoing my own fears. Yet, in that moment, the pull between us felt inevitable, like a decision we'd both been avoiding. Downstairs, laughter filtered up from the dining room, oblivious to the fracture upstairs. Amira wiped her eyes, standing abruptly. "I need time, Sienna. Don't push this." But as she turned to go, her hand brushed mine, lingering just a second too long, a silent admission that changed the trajectory of our lives. That night, I lay awake in my childhood bedroom, replaying the confession. What had I done? The risk was enormous. Losing our family, facing judgment from friends, unraveling the fragile peace we'd built. But the alternative, suppressing this truth, felt like slow suffocation. Amira's room was across the hall. I wondered if she was staring at the ceiling too, weighing the cost of honesty against the safety of denial. The next morning, breakfast was tense. Our parents chatted about work, but Amira avoided my gaze, picking at her food. I felt the weight of unspoken words pressing down. When she announced she was heading to work early, I followed her to the garage. We can't just pretend last night didn't happen, I whispered. She spun around, eyes flashing. Pretend? That's all I've been doing my whole life. Fitting into this perfect picture because it's easier than fighting. Her voice cracked, revealing the cracks in her facade. For years, she'd dated men to please our family, but I'd seen the emptiness in her eyes after each breakup. Was this the moment she admitted it to herself? As she drove away, I stood there, heart aching. The confession had opened a Pandora's box, and now we had to face the demons inside. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a spiral that would test every bond we held dear. Over the following days, the tension simmered. Amira threw herself into wedding planning, as if burying herself in details could erase my words. But late at night, she'd text me, "Can't sleep. Thinking about what you said." Those messages were lifelines, pulling us closer despite the danger. One evening, after our parents went to bed, we met in the kitchen. "Why now?" she asked, pouring tea with trembling hands. "Why risk everything?" "Because I can't watch you marry someone you don't love," I replied. "And because I think you feel it too." She set the cup down hard. "Even if I do, what then? We sneak around? Lie to everyone? That's not a life, Sienna." Her words stung, but they were true. The societal pressure was immense. Friends who casually dropped homophobic jokes. A community where being different meant isolation. Yet, in her hesitation, I saw the internal battle. Duty versus desire, family versus self. We talked for hours, voices low, dissecting our feelings. Amira admitted to crushes on girls in high school, buried deep to avoid scrutiny. I shared my own struggles, the loneliness of hiding. It was cathartic but terrifying. By dawn, we hadn't resolved anything, but the air felt charged with possibility and peril. As the week ended, Amira's fiancé, Mark, came over for dinner. Watching them together was torture. He was kind, stable, everything our family approved of. But Amira's smiles were forced, her laughs hollow. When he kissed her cheek, jealousy burned through me like acid. After he left, she found me on the porch. "I can't do this," she whispered. "But breaking it off. It'll raise questions." "Then let's face them together," I urged. She shook her head. "You make it sound easy. But the cost, it's too high." In that moment, I realized the depth of her fear. It wasn't just about us. It was about losing the only stability she'd known. Our parents' marriage had been her anchor after her father's death, disrupting that could shatter her world. Yet, as we stood there under the stars, our hands inches apart, I felt a shift. The confession had ignited a fire, and now it was spreading, threatening to consume everything in its path. The following weekend, our family hosted a barbecue, the kind where neighbors mingled and kids ran around the yard. Amira and I moved through the crowd like ghosts, exchanging glances that spoke volumes. Mark was there, arm around her waist, oblivious to the undercurrent. Inside, I seethed. How could she keep up this charade? During a lull, I pulled her aside behind the garage. "This is killing me," I confessed. "Seeing you with him, it's wrong." Her eyes narrowed. "Wrong? You think I enjoy this? I'm trying to protect us, Sienna. If I end things now, everyone will ask why. And you'll say what? That you're in love with your stepsister." The sarcasm dripped from my words, but it masked the hurt. She flinched. "Don't say it like that. This isn't some taboo fantasy. It's our lives." The argument escalated, voices rising until a neighbor glanced our way. We broke apart, but the damage was done. That night, Amira knocked on my door. "We need to stop this before it destroys everything." But as she sat on my bed, the proximity ignited something. We really talked about the what-ifs. What if we came out? What if we ran away? The ideas were reckless, born of desperation. Deep down, Amira wrestled with her identity. Was this love or confusion from our close bond? I knew my feelings were real, forged in quiet moments, helping her study late, comforting her after bad days. But for her it was a revelation, clashing with the life she'd planned. Monday brought a turning point. At work, Amira called off the engagement. Mark was devastated, but she cited cold feet. Our parents were shocked, probing for reasons. "Is there someone else?" Mom asked, I suspicious. Amira glanced at me across the table, her silence deafening. Inside, her thoughts churned. This is the first step, but at what price? Mark's hurt face haunted her, a reminder of the collateral damage. The news spread like wildfire. Friends called, offering sympathy or gossip. Our childhood neighbor Lisa dropped a bomb. I always thought Amira seemed distant with guys. Is she? The implication hung heavy. Amira panicked, retreating into herself. See what you've started, she accused me later. Now everyone's watching. But isn't that better than living a lie? I countered. She laughed bitterly. Easy for you to say. You've always been the rebel. I was the one who held it together. Her words revealed the resentment bubbling under the surface. Our dynamic had shifted. I was the catalyst, she the victim. But in her anger I saw the truth. She was scared of embracing who she was. As days passed, we navigated the fallout. Our parents arranged a family meeting, concerned about Amira's sudden change. Dad paced, preaching about commitment. Marriage isn't easy, but you don't just quit. Amira nodded along, but her mind screamed, if only you knew the real reason. The pressure mounted, societal expectations closing in like walls. I tried to support her, but our stolen conversations felt tainted by guilt. One night she confessed, I think I love you too, Sienna. But admitting it means betraying everything I know. The admission was a double-edged sword, joy mingled with dread. We decided to keep it secret, testing the waters. But secrets have a way of festering. Soon cracks appeared. Amira's ex, Mark, confronted her at a coffee shop, demanding answers. Is there another guy? He pressed. She hesitated, then lied. No, it's just me. But he didn't buy it. Rumors started. Amira was seeing someone forbidden. Our family heard whispers, tension rising at home. One evening Mom cornered me. What's going on with you two? You're acting strange. I deflected, but inside panic surged. The web of lies was tangling, threatening to ensnare us. Amira began questioning her choice. Maybe I should get back with Mark. It's safer. The suggestion gutted me. Safer for who? You'd be miserable. For everyone, she shot back. Think about Dad. He'd have a heart attack if he knew. Her fear of rejection ran deep, rooted in childhood memories of our family's rigid morals. Dad's stories of military discipline, Mom's Bible study groups. They'd shaped her into someone who prioritized approval over authenticity. But I pushed back. We deserve happiness, even if it's hard. Our debates grew heated, exposing raw vulnerabilities. Amira admitted to therapy sessions in college, exploring her sexuality but burying it under societal pressure. I thought I could outrun it, she said. I shared my own battles, coming out to a few friends facing backlash. It's worth it for freedom. Yet the cost loomed. Friends distanced themselves as rumors swirled. At a party, someone joked about sisterly love, and Amira fled in tears. That night she confronted me. This is your fault. You pushed too hard. The accusation stung, but it forced reflection. Had I been selfish, forcing her out before she was ready? The internal conflict tore at me. Love versus patience, desire versus destruction. As the month wore on, Amira withdrew, spending time with old friends who reinforced traditional views. I watched helplessly, fearing I'd lost her. Then a breakthrough, she texted. Meet me at the park. We need to decide. Under the oak trees she looked resolute. I can't go back, Sienna. But moving forward means facing the fire. We agreed to tell our parents slowly, carefully. But fate intervened. Dad overheard a phone call, piecing together clues. The confrontation was explosive. What is this? He demanded, face red. Amira froze, her world crumbling. In that moment, the price of our love became painfully clear. The living room felt like a courtroom as Dad stared us down. Mom beside him with wide eyes. I heard you on the phone, Amira, talking about feelings for Sienna. Tell me it's not what I think. Amira's hand shook. Inside her thoughts raced. This is it, the moment everything breaks. She glanced at me, seeking strength, but I was paralyzed too. It's true, she whispered. We're in love. The words hung in the air like smoke. Mom gasped, clutching her cross necklace. Dad's face twisted in disbelief. This is unnatural. You're sisters. Stepsisters, I corrected, voice steady despite the storm inside. And love doesn't follow rules. He exploded. Rules? This family has values. What will people say? The church, our friends, you'll be outcasts. His words echoed the societal disdain we'd feared. Homophobia masked as concern. Amira crumpled, tears flowing. I'm sorry, Dad. I tried to fight it. Mom intervened, voice trembling. How long? Is this why you ended things with Mark? Amira nodded, the confession unleashing a torrent of emotions. Inside, she grappled with guilt. Betraying their trust, appending their world. But beneath it, a spark of relief, finally truth. The argument raged for hours. Dad cited Bible verses, Mom pleaded for counseling. You can change, she insisted. I fired back, change? This is who we are. Forcing us to hide is the real sin. The clash highlighted the generational divide. Their world of conformity versus our fight for authenticity. Amira wavered, torn between loyalty and love. By night's end, an ultimatum. Get help or leave. The words landed like blows. Amira's mind screamed. Choose family or Sienna. The mouthwan Dao Duk weighed heavy. Honor thy parents, but at what cost to self? We retreated to our rooms, the house silent but for sobs. I texted her. We can face this together. Her reply. But what if we can't? The next days were hell. Dad barely spoke, Mom prayed incessantly. Friends called, sensing discord. One, our cousin Jake, visited and dropped hints. Heard rumors. Hope it's not true. Family first, right? Amira snapped. Family should support, not judge. Her defiance surprised me, a sign of awakening. But the pressure mounted. At work, colleagues whispered. A promotion slipped away, subtle discrimination at play. Inside, Amira questioned. Is love worth this isolation? Memories of happy family holidays clashed with the present nightmare. I faced my own battles. My art studio became a refuge, but inspiration waned under stress. A gallery show loomed, but focus eluded me. This is the price, I thought. But I'd pay it again. We met secretly in the city, away from prying eyes. Over coffee, Amira confessed. I feel free but terrified. We'll build our own life, I assured her. But doubt crept in. Amira's phone buzzed constantly. Mom begging her to reconsider. Dad sending articles on reparative therapy. The temptation to recant grew. Maybe they're right, she murmured one night. This could be a phase. The words gutted me, revealing her internal war. Society's voice was loud, drowning out her own. Then betrayal struck. Amira confided in an old friend, Sarah, seeking advice. Sarah, conservative at heart, told Mom everything, twisting it into Sienna's influence. Mom confronted us. You're corrupting her. Amira's face paled. Sarah? How could she? The betrayal deepened the wound, eroding trust. Amira lashed out at me. If you hadn't pushed, none of this would happen. Her accusation exposed the fractures in our bond. Was our love strong enough to withstand this? As weeks passed, we navigated the fallout. Dad cut off contact temporarily, hoping distance would fix us. Mom oscillated between anger and sorrow. Amira attended a support group for LGBTQ individuals, a step toward acceptance. There she heard stories of rejection and resilience mirroring her own. It helps, she told me. But the pain, it's real. I nodded, sharing my own therapy sessions. We're paying the price, but it's for truth. Yet challenges persisted. Financially, we struggled. Dad froze shared accounts. Socially, invitations dried up. One night, Amira broke down. Is this worth it? Losing everything. I held her gaze. Losing lies to gain ourselves, yes. Her resolve hardened, but the journey was fraught. A family event loomed, our parents' anniversary. Attend or boycott. We chose to go, a test of wills. Tensions simmered. Relatives whispered. Aunt Karen pulled Amira aside. Think of your future. This path leads to loneliness. Amira stood tall. Loneliness is pretending to be someone I'm not. The defiance marked a turning point, but not without cost. Dad stormed out, Mom in tears. Back home, Amira reflected. The damage is done, but perhaps healing begins now. As the conflict escalated, we faced a pivotal choice. Fight for acceptance or walk away. Months into the turmoil, the strain showed. Amira lost weight, shadows under her eyes from sleepless nights. I miss the old US, she admitted over breakfast in our small apartment, We'd moved out, a necessary severance. The decision to leave home had been gut-wrenching. Dad's final words. If you choose this life, you're no longer welcome. Mom's pleas echoed in Amira's mind. Don't abandon us. But staying meant suppression, a fate worse than exile. Inside, Amira battled guilt. Am I selfish for choosing love over family? Our new life in Chicago's bustling Lincoln Park was a mixed blessing. Freedom to be together but isolation from roots. Friends divided. Some supported, others ghosted. At work, Amira faced microaggressions. Coworkers avoiding her. Projects reassigned. It's discrimination, I raged. She shrugged. Proving it is hard. Better to endure. Her stoicism masked the hurt, a shield against the world's judgment. Society's stigma was pervasive. News of anti-LGBT bills, hate crimes in the headlines. Is this our America? She wondered. I poured energy into my art, creating pieces on identity and forbidden love. A gallery show drew crowds, but reviews were polarized. Praise from progressives, scorn from traditionalists. One critic wrote, "Raw but disturbing, challenges family norms too aggressively." The feedback mirrored our reality. Amira attended the opening, proud but wary. "Your work exposes us," she whispered. "It's truth," I replied. But exposure brought risks. An anonymous email threatened. "Sisters like you don't belong." Fear gripped us. Was it a relative? A stranger? The incident forced reflection. The price of visibility is vulnerability. Amira's internal conflict deepened. She reached out to Mom secretly, hoping for reconciliation. "I still love you," Mom said, but added, "Come back without that." The conditional love stung. "They want the old me," Amira cried. "But she's gone." The rejection fueled her awakening, but at a cost. Depression crept in, days where she questioned everything. I supported her, but my own doubts surfaced. Did I drag her into this? The Mouthwandowduk nod. Love shouldn't demand sacrifice, yet it did. A turning point came via a support network. We joined a group for queer families sharing stories. Hearing others' journeys of loss and eventual acceptance ignited hope. One woman shared, "My parents came around after years. Time heals." Amira clung to that, but impatience grew. What if they never do? "Then we build our own family," I said. But building meant confronting past wounds. Amira's ex, Mark, reappeared, offering friendship. "I understand now," he claimed. She met him seeking closure. But he pushed. "This phase will pass. Come back to normal." The manipulation enraged her. "Normal? Your normal suffocated me." The encounter solidified her resolve, but revealed betrayal's layers, friends turning foes. As winter set in, a crisis hit. Dad suffered a minor heart attack, stress-induced. Mom blamed us indirectly. Amira rushed to the hospital, guilt overwhelming. If we'd stayed silent. Dad awoke seeing her. "Why are you here?" "Because you're family," she replied. The moment cracked his armor. "I don't understand, but I miss you." Tears flowed, a fragile bridge. Mom joined, emotions raw. "We fear for you. In this world." Amira countered. "The world changes if we fight." The visit didn't resolve everything, but planted seeds. Back home, Amira reflected. Damage mends slowly, but honesty paves the way. Yet challenges persisted. Societal backlash intensified with a local controversy. A school banning LGBTQ books. We protested, voices joining the chorus. Amira spoke publicly for the first time. Love isn't a threat. Ignorance is. The act empowered her but invited trolls. Online harassment followed, testing resilience. Inside, she thought, this is the price, visibility for change. Our relationship deepened amid trials, decisions forged in fire. But a final test loomed. Reconciliation or permanent rift. Spring brought tentative renewal. Dad invited us for coffee, neutral ground. "I won't pretend to agree," he said. "But family is family." Mom nodded, eyes soft. "We've been reading, talking to pastors who see differently." The shift was incremental, born of love clashing with prejudice. Amira's heart swelled. Is this acceptance? But skepticism lingered. Actions over words, she thought. We navigated cautiously, sharing meals, avoiding deep topics. Dad asked about our lives, listening without judgment for now. Society's pressures remained. A coworker outed Amira maliciously, leading to HR complaints. She fought back, winning protections, but the battle exhausted her. "Why us?" she vented. "Because we're visible," I replied. "And that inspires others." Indeed, a young cousin reached out. "Your story gives me hope." The ripple effect highlighted the broader impact, our pain fueling change. But personal costs mounted. Amira's therapy uncovered buried trauma, childhood suppression, fear of abandonment. "I almost married Mark to avoid this," she admitted. The confession healed, strengthening us. We made choices. Therapy together, community involvement. Yet betrayals lingered. Sarah apologized, but trust was shattered. Some bridges burn, Amira decided. As summer approached a high point, our first Pride event. Surrounded by allies, we felt belonging. But home tensions resurfaced. Dad relapsed into old views during a debate. "Society isn't ready," Amira challenged. "Then we make it ready." The push-pull defined our journey. Progress amid regression. In quiet moments, Amira reflected. The damage we've endured, emotional scars, lost relationships, was it justified? I pondered too. Love demands sacrifice, but where's the line? A family reunion tested resolve. Relatives varied. Some welcoming, others cold. Aunt Karen confronted. "You're tearing the family apart." Amira stood firm. "No secrets did that." The standoff awakened others. Cousins defended us, shifting dynamics. Dad, witnessing, softened further. Maybe I was wrong. The admission was monumental. A Tuktin born of confrontation. As the year closed, we stood stronger but marked by battles. Our love, once forbidden, now a beacon. Yet the path was littered with losses. Amira's final thought. We've paid dearly but gained ourselves. In the end, was defying family and society the right choice, or did the wounds outweigh the freedom?